If it's bull or bear, I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kinda patient, 'cause only time will tell. It's gonna go up, so you better stay calm. And crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow. It is 1:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and last night I spent the night completely rearranging my entire office, and I've got everything down here now. I'm doing no more work upstairs. I'm doing all down here in my little command center. If you saw what I'm surrounded by, you would probably chuckle. But there's a lot of work to be done and a lot happening. And so I figured it's time I just, from the time I wake up, I make my coffee, I come down in the office and I start researching, working, seeing what's going on in the market, the whole nine. And, obviously with Crow's Nest being live beta, there are still things I'm learning so much about not only operating an exchange, but just what kind of situations occur and how to deal with them. And it's been really eye-opening. And because of the way the market has been, I've been really taking a more active approach in trying to understand kind of what's happening short-term, long-term. Because honestly, launching an exchange, even with low volume, because I'm not actively marketing it, you're not going to see any like banners for it anywhere. You're not going to see a whole lot, because I want to make sure that, because ultimately we have to stake the exchange initially. And so, I have to basically buy the coins and the Bitcoin or the altcoins or whatever the hell we're going to put on it. And we have to stake those ourselves. And I with the market kind of dumping a bit, it's kind of like, well, I don't really want to buy something at 8,000 just to have somebody come onto the exchange and buy it at 6,000. It doesn't do me any good, right? And so I've basically, I'm not heavily marketing the exchange yet, because I kind of don't want people to buy anything from it at the time being, if I'm honest. I mean, I would much rather kind of get my positions in, get everything in a nice, comfortable spot, and then start moving up together. That's kind of what I'm hoping for and what I'm waiting for. And, we're whitelisting potential investors and we're doing all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot happening, and it's still in beta. So there are, little things that I'm learning about, like what to expect from users when they sign up, how much do they actually read when they're signing up, things like that. So here's basically what's going on. We're going to get into some pretty good details as to what's kind of happening and what to expect. Now, if you watch a lot of other TA guys, a lot of these guys are ultimately running Fibonacci retracements, and the Fibonacci is ultimately showing them that that we can expect a pullback to as low as 5,500, and that if we were, if you listen to Alicio, him and his cohorts, they're saying, look, if we were to crash through 5,500, we could see even lower, right? And so I started going back into the history of the price action prior to a halving to kind of get an understanding as to what is to be expected. And the number one thing that I'm going to say is the price is going to fall as low as the retail market will let the whales manipulate them. And that's basically where we're at. I have not sold my position. I have not, I'm not playing this swing, even though I think it's likely that Bitcoin could see 6,000. We're at 8,000 now. We're going down a bit, but I believe that we've been in a pretty fair accumulation stage up to this point. And I think that now that we're getting about 6 months out from the Bitcoin halving, the next Bitcoin halving, I think that the whales are kind of trying to push the market down. They're trying to accumulate in a forceful manner by causing the retail market to be fearful, which is you and me. And I think that they're doing this because they want to instill this, I better dump and get out because I could buy back in later. If I think the price could go to 6,000, why not sell now, buy back in at 6,000, and I've improved my Bitcoin by, $2,000, or my position by $2,000 per Bitcoin owned or bought or sold or whatever the case may be. I'm not doing that because when the market, I believe, is being kind of forcefully manipulated in this kind of a trend, I believe that the reverse can happen instantaneously. While we may see slow trickles down lower and lower, we could hit 7,500 and the next candle shoot back up to 85. And it's going to happen from my experience in watching things like this play out, when the price reverses, it goes up very, very quickly because that's just the nature of things like this happening. This to me isn't necessarily natural market movement. This isn't a natural market trend. This is people with the resources to accumulate more and buy everything that the retail market's willing to sell at a discount. And right now, I believe anything under 8,000 is a discount. Now, and I'll explain why. I've referenced this several times in the past, but if we're looking at just the stock to flow chart, the live stock to flow chart, this is where we're at right now. Stock to flow value is between 8,300 to 9,000 right now. So anything below $8,000 or technically let's say 8,500 is a discount against where the stock to flow projections say the price should be based off of the usage, the how much is being produced in a day against how much total circulation is in play against how much is still yet to be mined up. And so that tells me that and when this stock to flow chart has been pretty accurate since inception for the most part, it tells me a lot about where the market is and why it is where it is. Okay, now, as we're heading into the next Bitcoin halving, you're going to see on my chart here a big yellow arrow. This is when the next halving is expected to take place, basically around May 20th of next year. And I'm going to show you an image here that's going to really lay out a lot of the history of the Bitcoin halving and the price action associated with it leading up to and post halving historically, okay? Now, right here, we see the date of the halving, which is around May 20th of 2020. Each one of these blocks is basically 10 weekly bars, okay? Prior to the halving, we typically have price action so we have an accumulation phase, which we saw this in here. And then we have 55 weeks leading into the next halving. We typically see the price start to rise up, okay? Now, from where we are now, we could guess that the price could potentially hit 12, 13,000, potentially. I don't know, but this is all kind of a guesstimate on what's happened previously. So right now we're at 8,000. We could see that 14,000 again in the future prior to the halving. But the thing of it is that the price leading into the halving is really, especially now, I believe, more market manipulation. And it's people accumulating prior to the halving because the closer we get to the halving, the more people are willing to buy in. And it's going to be that initial phase of momentum that starts driving the FOMO prior to the halving. And we still have, we're getting close to the 6-month mark before we start really seeing things kick in. And because of this, I see November, whatever we do closing out the month of October, we had that 4chan guy who predicted pretty accurately the price action over a pretty good period of time, called for a $16,000 Bitcoin by the end of October. Well, it's October 16th. Everybody filed everybody that was, filed extensions and things like that, filed their taxes for last year yesterday. And so now a lot of the taxes are done. Excuse me. And we might see a little bit more pain because now everybody's having to pay those tax bills. And so that could be a part of why people are willing to sell right now, because people are basically selling off to try and pay off their tax bills that they just filed. And then it's going to be about accumulation from here on, starting fresh, starting over. Okay. And so I see this kind of playing out. I think it's a combination of the two things. And the thing of it is that the whales know this. The whales understand this. And so they're saying, okay, let's create some fear in these people as they sell into us so that we can accumulate more at a discount, and they're paying their tax bills. Okay. And so once this starts to average out and conclude, I think that's when we're going to really start seeing the price start to shoot up. Are we going to see $16,000 by the end of October? I highly doubt it at this point, but anything is possible. It could go up $4,000 or $5,000 in a day. Anything could happen to the Bitcoin price. These whales have the ability to push the price in whatever direction they want. So moving forward, let's just say that between now and the date of the halving, let's just say maybe we see 14,000. Okay, that gives us 6 months. It's a pretty long time. 6 months until the next Bitcoin halving date. But from there, that's when things get interesting. Because then from that point on, I calculated, so I was doing some calculation based off of this. This is a calculation basically explaining different halving periods. A lot of people call it the halvening. It's not the halvening, folks. That's like saying I could care less to me. I hear people say the halvening, and I'm like, no, it's halving. It's being cut in half, not halving. But anyway, so the second halving, the date of the halving was July 9th, 2016. The relative all-time high to that halving was December 16th, 2017, basically the previous bull rally that we saw. And the days from the halving to the all-time high was 526 days. So come May 20th, or thereabouts, could potentially be April, the way the hash rates are growing, because we're feeling it at Crow Mining, I can tell you that. The hash rates are growing. And because of that, the halving could be faster than May, at which point we would start this clock a little sooner than expected. However, the new issuance rate dropped from 12.5% down to 4%, and this next one's going to drop down to 1.79%. The price at the time of the halving of July 9th, 2016 was $650. The all-time high was basically about 20,000. That's almost a 3,000% increase over the period of 526 days. Okay? You'll notice, though, that the trend is typically the comparison between the price increase in the all-time high rally from its halving date to the all-time high is basically cut in halves to a third. Well, not no. It's like 3x. Okay, so we're basically 3x less than we were at the last halving. So if I what I did was I divided this 79.76 into 29.02. I came up with it was like 2.79 or something like that. And so if I did the same ratio, it takes us to 1,059% potential growth over the course of time from the May halving over the next, typically, 2-year period. Okay. So that's how I came up with this. And so that is how we end up here. 1,000% gain over the course of that period of time could take us to somewhere around $160,000 Bitcoin. Now, some of you guys are thinking, well, that sounds absolutely nuts. But if we go back and we reference the Bitcoin stock to flow chart, by the time we get to around 2021, mid-year 2021, we're seeing the stock to flow chart is about 100,000. Now, what you're also going to see during the last halving, the stock to flow chart showed price action. It said, well, Bitcoin should be around $6,000, but that still shot up to like $20,000 at the high. Hard to get it in there. So just because the stock to flow shows $103,000 or $105,000 around this time doesn't mean that the price momentum taking us there won't cause us to surpass that place and go higher. Okay? And that's honestly what I expect to see happening. We're still hovering around $8,000. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, the question is, can we see 6,000? Could we see 550 or 5,500? Yeah, we could. I just don't think it's that likely. I think it is potentially likely that we could see 6,000. I don't see us going much lower than that. Honestly, if we broke under 7,000 at this point, I'd be kind of surprised. I think people are starting to get a little wise to what's going on. And I don't think anybody wants to take the unnecessary chance. While people are trying to anticipate these drops and they're willing to play these markets, pro traders are doing things correctly. They'll say, look, I'll sell my position now, but then I'm going to put a market limit buy order back in. So if things start to go back up, I automatically buy back in. A lot of people are not pro traders. They're not positioning themselves in a place that protects them, whether the price goes up or down. So if you're just some typical retail investor, you have to play it really safe or don't play it at all. The way I look at it is if I'm buying Bitcoin right now at 8,000 and it goes up to 100,000, let alone 150,000 over the next 2 years, I'm in a pretty happy place. And yes, when the price is this low, being able to improve your position, depending on how many Bitcoin you own, if you have multiple Bitcoin at all, it's tempting to be able to say, well, I can sell my Bitcoin now and then buy back 1.2 Bitcoin at the bottom of this all. The catch-all is, if you fail to do that, you've really screwed yourself. And is it really worth it? And not only that, but you're creating a new taxable event. It's to each their own. I'm not a financial advisor, but this is just what I see. I think that it's possible for the price to go lower. I think it probably will for a little bit. But as you can see, even on a weekly chart, it's starting to peter out here. While it could go lower, I don't really see it going that much lower. Maybe we get to, maybe 7,500, and that's kind of where I think the buck is going to stop. And I think from there, we're going to start to trend up into the halving. I think at the halving, we might see a dip as people take some profit, because typically, it's possible to see a price dip post halving as people are taking profit at that point, because the rally to that point will enable the whales once again to manipulate the price, People will either through market manipulation or just through general trading, people will take some profits, they'll buy back in at the low of the dip, and then away we go into the next bull rally. Now, that all being said, to me, when I think about Bitcoin overall, and I think about the future of blockchain technology and where we're going, I don't trade my Bitcoin anymore. I literally have it locked away. I don't bother with it because I believe that over the next 2 years, I'm never going to have to work again. I mean, I'm hoping. I want everything that I do, 2 years from now to be out of pure joy, not out of like, oh, well, I, have to benefit my family and I have to do this and I have to do that. So while everybody is focused so heavily on the trading of Bitcoin, I think it's personally, in my opinion, it's best to just continue averaging in day after day, every other day, every week, whatever. Just average in, play it safe, and ride the wave up over the next couple years, and then just leave it at that. Trying to make ballsy swing moves as a non-professional, even professional traders lose their ass all the time, okay? I've even thought about doing a series of videos where I go through all of the technical analysis guys, go through all their calls and grade them. Nobody's done that. And I'm like, I see so many of these guys like, well, we could go here, we could go there. Well, they're making 2 calls up or down in every video. How accurate are these guys? And I've thought about putting some time into actually doing that, trying to figure out which call was accurate, if any, and then how often. And just doing kind of a thing, not to like tear anybody down, but more to show that even these guys who this is all they do are wrong a lot. Because there's really no way to truly indicate what's going to happen in Bitcoin. There just isn't. So, that being said, the flip side to this, and this is something that so few people actually talk about, which really does bother me. So many people focus on Bitcoin price action, but they don't necessarily talk about what is going to help Bitcoin rise to these ranks, to these new highs. It's altcoins, people. It's people buying into and trading altcoins. Think about it. If you're a newcomer to the space and you read an article about Bitcoin going to $100,000 and you've only got $100, what are you going to put your money into? You're going to say, well, Bitcoin's too expensive and my $100 may become $120 if Bitcoin goes up to $100,000, but that's not really worth it. I want to play with something for bigger gains. I want to improve my position in an altcoin that I can trade back and forth against Bitcoin or against USD, and then I'll buy Bitcoin when I'm done, because that's my store of value. It's going to be the altcoin market that once again helps rally the Bitcoin parabolic bull run in the next phase, people, just like it has been. When I see all these people talk about, oh, altcoins are dead, altcoins aren't going anywhere, altcoins are in pain. Yeah, sure, they're in pain. Altcoins are sleeping. Altcoins, to me, it's like a sleeping dragon, ready to explode whenever it's ready. I mean, whenever it's going to. We don't know when it's going to trigger. What we do know is that when this whole Bitcoin thing starts to play out, the altcoin rally will begin. The altcoin rally may very well begin sometime within the next few months. Could happen tomorrow. We don't know. Yes, we've seen some altcoin pumps of late, but I don't really consider that consider that what I'm expecting. When the altcoins are ready to pump and the market really starts kicking into full gear again, we're going to start seeing an abundant. I'm already starting. I'll tell you this, and this is the God's honest truth. My wife and I were taking a bath last night. And yeah, we both fit. It's amazing. A little personal, I know, but we just talk. And I told her, I said, look, I just completely redid my office because something told me that things are about to start heating up. And I wanted no distraction. I just have all my machines 1, 2, 3, 4. I still have 2 others, but I have my 4 main ones down here. I wasn't kidding when I was talking about I keep everything separate. I have one machine I just check email. I have another machine I just do this, do that, and another thing. And like all my miniature painting and all of that stuff, all my paints, it's all in the opposite end of the office. This is I told her, I said, I feel there's something in me telling me that things are about to get nuts. And I want to be ready for it. I want to wake up in the morning. I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to have my breakfast. I'm going to come down to my command center. I'm going to turn this one on, this screen on, that screen on. I'm going to see what's happening in the market. I've got my machine for my graphics and video work and things like that. And I'm going to start focusing on really keeping track as to what's happening because something's telling me I need to. And that's where I'm at. I really want to start coming online live every day, even if it's just to share my thoughts on what's happening in the space. I'm not big. I was looking through the crypto news today, and I'm like, there just isn't anything all that special going on. And so, you know, I think I am going to start focusing on. I've got a spreadsheet that I started creating with a lot of my top altcoin projects that I've invested heavily into that I expect to see do very well. I think out of like 35 positions, I think maybe only 2 of them are basically have become complete shit coins. Maybe 3, we'll see. But I expect the rest to do exceedingly well as we move into this bull. I mean, are we in a bull market right now? Yeah, sure, maybe. You know, have we seen the bottom? Yeah, we probably have. But does that necessarily mean we're in a bull market? I guess so. Because I see us really just kind of over time continuing to go up from here. But there are going to be, I mean, there have been some outlier cryptocurrencies. You know, Matic, I know, had done pretty well. Chainlink had been doing pretty well. And you know, I know that there are a lot of bag holders in a lot of these altcoins, and they're just looking for an opportunity to sell them. I'm telling everybody now, it is going to be when the altcoins really do start to rally up, many people are going to feel like they should dump them. They should sell them. Still at a loss, just not as big of a loss as they're suffering today. If your altcoin is down, you know, 85, 90% against your Fiat or whatever you use to buy them with, it's going to be tempting when it rises up and it just reaches 50%. You know, you're thinking, oh, well, it's better than it was before. Now's probably the time. Why? If it gets back up to 50% of where it was, why do you not think that over the next year, 2 years, it's going to continue to rise up and surpass where it originally was? The markets, a lot of people say you can't predict the future based off of history. Well, yeah, that's true to a certain extent, but it does emulate it often. And if you go back into the price action prior to any parabolic bull run, the altcoins always come back. And even the shittiest of shit coins have major comebacks because they're used for pump and dump campaigns and things like that. And that's just an inevitability. It's gonna happen. And so my advice, well, I'm not giving you any damn advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But again, I'm a holder. I crow my coins. I let the cards fall where they may. And, you know, if I start seeing price action momentum to the upside in my altcoin positions, why would I cut my nose off to spite my face? Why would I continue to sell at a loss when the prices are moving up again? That to me doesn't make sense unless you're hard up for cash, which is why everybody says you never invest more than you can afford to lose, because if you do, it changes your mindset to be a loser. That's the whole idea. Desperation is cause for desperate measures, right? And so if you are investing out of desperation, you're much more likely to lose what you've invested because you're not going to have the patience or the calmness of mind to let the market play out as it's supposed to. And that's why everybody says don't invest more than you can afford to lose, because you almost create a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to take a loss. You're going to opt to take a loss. And sometimes things get more difficult before they get better. And so that's that. Let me take a look at chat. Wow, a lot of people today. I guess it's because I'm on in the afternoon. Make sure you hit that notification bell if you haven't, because there's going to be some really good stuff coming, and I don't want you guys to miss it. Dominic F., you're late. How dare you, sir? Ada. What's your safe word? What's your safe word? Pineapple. I don't even know what you're talking about. Hey, Crow, do you think Ruby is something interesting enough that you would get into? I don't even know what that is. Honestly, I don't know what that is. ADA, $28, a little high. More like 4 to 5 in the next few years. Yeah, I predict a $5 Cardano, and I'll be fine. I'll be happy with that. Please invite once Alicio into your video to talk about Bitcoin TA. I would love to, Florian. I would absolutely love to. I don't know how to get a hold of the man. He doesn't have any contact information on his channel at all, and I watch his videos to get his insight. And look, it seems like I brought him up in a previous video, and a lot of people don't like him for whatever reason. They say he's wrong a lot. Here's the thing that you guys have to understand. When it comes to the cryptocurrency market, I feel like the vast majority of YouTubers doing crypto TA are wrong. And it's not because what they're doing is bad, and it's not even necessarily because they don't know what they're doing. It's because the market is so unpredictable, because it's so easily manipulated by the whales right now. And so you could take technical analysis that would typically be very, very good in traditional markets or even potentially Forex. But when you try to use those same mechanics in the cryptocurrency space, especially if you're publicizing those thoughts, you're just begging to be corrected. And by that I mean, if a nut, you see some YouTubers, they go out there and they say something, and then other people go out and repeat it, and then it becomes everybody's saying the same thing, and then the whales say, thanks. And they just nail you to a cross. And that's just what happens often. And it's just the nature of social media today. So I've even learned that if I'm charting things out and I'm doing my own thing, which I don't typically share my charting, because I wouldn't want anybody to trade on my TA, even though I actually do a pretty decent job. But if I'm not trading my own TA, I'm not going to share it with you guys to trade and potentially lose. That's just kind of the way I look at things. I'm not here as a TA YouTuber. That's not my bag. My bag is to just sit here and share my experiences and my thoughts on the space overall and what I'm doing as an entrepreneur and all of that, hoping that it inspires you guys and helps teach you. That's ultimately what I'm here on YouTube for. I'm not here to build a following of people looking at my technical analysis to try and make trading decisions. I wouldn't wish that on any of you. Even though I have surprised myself with being pretty damn accurate, even against the calls of some of the bigger players on YouTube. I just have a different way of looking at things. I think I have more of a realist way of looking at things. Let's see. Super video like always. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Howdy, Crow. Good to hear from you. Good to see you too, Doug Maloney. I appreciate it. Expect the dip before the halving. Everyone bringing the market down to buy in one last time. That's about it. About right. Crow, you are a beast. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I still remember the time I scared the shit out of Doug Polk at a convention. He was standing out there, and he had put me in one of his videos making a little joke about me. I actually thought it was pretty funny. It didn't seem vicious or anything, but I saw him. He was standing outside with a group of people, and I had a group of people with me, and And I ran up at him. I was like, I fucking hate you, Doug Polk. And I went like I was going to come after him. And he kind of ducked down. He's like, Crypto Crow. He was like, geez, you're huge. Everybody says that when they meet me for the first time. They talk about how huge I am. I am a pretty big dude. So, love your videos. You keep it real. I really do try to keep it real all the time. I really do. I mean, even if it's to a detriment to myself, I don't want to bullshit the public. I don't want to bullshit any of you guys. I truly do value the respect and the reputation that I have on YouTube. And look, I can be wrong. I can always be wrong about anything. But I try to at least keep everything very transparent and very real, and that's the best I can offer. If Charles has to eat his shoes, in his case boots, and gets terribly ill and has to resign as a result, how badly do you think this will affect ADA price? Yeah, 7 foot tall, Matt. 7 foot tall, 297 pounds. I'm kind of trickling some losses. Man, my wife is getting shredded, man. She's been on this crazy diet with, I don't know if they want I guess they would, but maybe I'll talk to them about it. They want to promote it, and maybe my wife gets to a point where she's willing to share. But I think she got to like 119 pounds or something like that. And she's only 5 foot. So she's like 5'1"-ish. And, she's down to like 114, but she's getting so lean. And this diet she's on with, it's actually her cousin's husband, Jason Theobald, who is a competitive bodybuilder and trains like a lot of the top bodybuilders around here. And he's just, they're very damn good at what they do, man. They like transform people. If I had the willpower, I would pay him to convert me or transform me, and I would be a beast. Like I know if I worked with him for 6 solid months and did everything the man said, I could be competitive. Like I really do think so. And maybe someday, once all of this stuff is done and I have the time, I'll actually do it. But anyway, what do I think would happen to Cardano if Charles got sick from eating his shoe and had to leave? Look, if it's post-Jelly, post-smart contracts, I think it'll still be fine. And look, I don't think Charles is leaving. I know that there's a lot of FUD out there, and I know that, for whatever reason, there are people out there that absolutely hate Charles and hate Cardano. And I think that it's actually very ignorant to a large degree to try and dump on a project just because you don't like the personal mannerisms of its founder. And that's just my personal opinion. Like, I understand how I understand how some people may feel, but I just think, look, I'm basing the projects off the merit of the project, not necessarily how I feel on a personal level about its founder. And at the same time, it's always easier to judge somebody prior to actually having been in their shoes, and it's difficult. Even as a YouTuber, I get so many emails, messages, requests, questions, you name it. And it's really difficult to keep up with a lot of them. And a lot of them I don't even see. And some people can say, oh, that crow, he sure thinks he's hot shit. I messaged him 3 weeks ago. He never responded. I probably just didn't see it. But that has created this perception that I'm an asshole because I didn't respond to someone. And so then that becomes a grow. And then they're all over the internet. Like, I messaged Crow. He's an asshole. He doesn't care about anybody. I asked him a question about, where does he think Cardano's going to be in 6 years? And he never responded. He's a dick. And that's how people are. So, I like Charles still. I think Charles is brilliant. It doesn't matter to me necessarily if I don't know. Look at Steve Jobs, folks. Come on. He was one of the most infamous people in tech, and he created one of the biggest brands in the world. It's just, some people are pricks. And I'm not even saying that I think Charles is. I'm just saying that even if he were, it doesn't matter. It doesn't negate the potential for Cardano overall. And I'm still extremely bullish on the project. That's just kind of all there is to that. Cardano's not suspicious. You're crazy. So, yay for Crow. What's up? Crow, what do you think of the Bitcoin stock to flow chart? I love it. You're obviously late to the video. I've referenced this stock to flow chart many times lately. I think it's just, you don't get any clearer a measure of potential value over time based off of supply and demand and everything else. I love the stock to flow chart. If you just Google Bitcoin stock to flow chart, you'll find it. I think it's the first link that pops up, and you can go and you can just watch it, and you can check out historically what has happened with the actual price as it relates to the stock to flow and where we're at in time. So yeah, I dig it. I dig it. I sure would like to see this turn around. What did we went down to? We went down to 79.59. It is what it is. We could go a little bit lower, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. So pro miners, my miners are still purring away. I would sure like to see that that number grow. 79.59. I'd like to see that number grow. I've got like 3 more miners getting ready to go online, so that'll be cool. Look, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you get your Chainwise tickets. Chainwise tickets. I have adjusted what I expect will be the I may still add people to the beginning, like earlier in the morning, but from 11 to 6 each day, I've got a speaker at Chainwise. So the lectures will probably start around 11 o'clock and about 6 o'clock. I think that's going to be sufficient, and I'll make sure that people don't have to wake up at the butt crack of dawn and rush to the convention center and so forth. And Bitcoin and Friends, Monarch is, I'm telling you, a lot of people ask me, like, what's up with Monarch token? The price is down, everything's down, guys. But Monarch, I mean, Beatles he's going to be at Chainwise as well. But you know, I'm gonna have a talk with Beatles and see what's up with the project, any way I can help. You know, Kiana Danielle is going to be speaking on TA. Wendy, Crypto Wendy's good. I mean, we've got a very well-rounded group. Elliot Kravitz, he's going to be speaking on crypto taxes. You know, JD Seraphine, Hollywood film producer, is going to be talking about the new era of blockchain technology in the world. Peter Hasepetros, you know, one of my lawyers, and he's like general counsel, just helps with a lot of different things. Very cool. Sometimes we'll be up at 2 a.m. shooting the shit about, you know, what's going on with Crow's Nest, so forth and so on. We got Keisha with Emergo. She's going to be talking about crypto marketing. She's going to be a day one speaker. Mark Moss, of course, and his fundamental analysis, which is bar none some of the best in the biz. Daniel Goldman, he's going to be speaking. I mean, look, we've got a lot of stuff. George Shearer, who's a personal friend of mine, an absolute genius. Like, this dude is like straight up a freaking genius. Like, he could probably give Charles Hoskinson a run for his money, and I'm not kidding. This guy is one of these guys that's going to build like a rocket ship to the fucking moon in his garage someday. That's the kind of dude this guy is. And he's a very, very senior level architect, enterprise level, security, you know, like you name it. The guy's just a freaking wizard, and he's a bodybuilder, so he's freaking huge. But super cool. Obviously, Alex, I have Alex the first night. He's gonna close out day one at 6 p.m. and I'm really, really looking forward to that. So yeah, make sure you get, I mean, $20, people, come on, there's no excuse. 22 days out, make sure you're there. I want to see everybody there. After party is going to be at Gala Park on Saturday night, and we're just going to totally unwind after this event. And then after the event is concluded, everything goes to editing. I will be selling like 30-second promotional spots to different crypto companies. We're going to throw them into these lecture videos before we throw them up on national television in my own channel. So yeah, you will be able to see some of this stuff. But expect you to be there anyway. Also, make sure like you are able to set up your accounts at Crow's Nest X. If you're an accredited investor and you're interested in more details on the STO, you go to the site, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's a little textual link that says STO whitelist. If you're a legitimate investor and you're interested, you're welcome to fill that out, and you're gonna have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops from there. But you know, I can't even say any more than that. I don't feel comfortable saying anything more than that. But if you're interested in being a part of the exchange, then there's your opportunity. What else? I think that's about it. Crowmining.com. We are about to launch the new website. I don't think it's up yet. No, it's not up yet, but the new website will be pretty cool. So crowmining.com if you're interested in getting into Bitcoin mining. And I mean, that's about it. 45-minute video, not too shabby. I hate to leave so many viewers live, but you know, most people only watch for 15-20 minutes anyway, so it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it here, get back to work on other things, and I'll see you guys soon. So crow your coins. I love you and I miss you, and I mean it. And I'll see you again. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.